Hello, we are group 5 and the company that we are going to present is Merck. My topic for sustainability is innovation digitalization. So one of the topic is clean meat. So the growing animals for meat takes 77% of agricultural land and it only adds to 18% of calories. So Merck is introducing a new sustainable meat production by developing artificial meat. Which is more sustainable. It has reduced carbon dioxide emissions compared to the normal method of cultivating the feedstock. Other is liquid autopsy. Liquid autopsy is a methodology where it can be prognostically diagnose cancer-causing agents before the normal biopsy. Other is artificial intelligence, which can fasten and which can get more secondary data from the already existing data. Merck is also establishing the fair data principles, which make sure that the data, the life science can increase its productivity and accessibility following the fair data principles. Second is M-Venture. M-Venture is a startup initiative from Merck, which actually give 400 million euros every year for innovative projects.
Regarding the sustainability and about employees in specific, usually Merck Germany it considers a personal development for all their employee based on three cornerstone: the performance and the potential management process. So they give them a regular feedback and try to understand if they reached their individual goals or not. There is also annual development plan every year to develop and design measures together, and at the end there is something called advanced training management in order to maintain a wide range of training and continuing education program related to their work at Merck Germany. Thank you.
About measuring sustainability, it is important to measure sustainability targets. This can be done by Merck through key performance indicator to help our business in sustainable and future-proof way. Merck collaborated with many agencies to rate the success and analyze it.
I would like to talk about environment and community engagement. They are working with the motto A for avoidance of waste to Z for zero emissions. Here the figures clearly represent they are planning to achieve climate neutrality, to reduce greenhouse gases and to use the renewable electrical resources as well as to reduce the CO2 emission. Merck is also involved in reducing the waste score as well as they are involved in recycling the waste, a huge amount of the waste, and also they want like to improve the intensity of the water score. They follow different patterns so with which they can improve the intensity of the water score. Merck is also involved in social and community engagement. In 2020, they have spent 54 million euros, and the activities were carried out in 96 countries. Their activities majorly include in improving education and culture, health, disaster relief, and environment.
Hello, I'm Mithun and I'm looking at the question how the Merck connected laboratory business improve research outcome, costs and compliance in life science industry. In life science industry, we see that as with time, the number of drugs that come into the market is going down per 1 billion R&D expenditure. And this process is called Dubs-Rum's law. But this is contrary to every other technology where the speed of innovation is faster with time. The lack of this reduced output is considered due to lack of fair data. So in life science industry, every year 10.2 billion US dollars is lost, and this can be attributed to time spent, license cost, research duplication cost, cost of the storage, research retraction, and impact on the innovation. So the Merck connected laboratory business have two wings. One is Lanaxo and BSSN. Lanexo is a software which try to use look at the material management system, where when a new material is coming into the lab, it can actually help to scan the material, and it can track the materials. So one of the biggest problems in the in life science industry is like the technical or the postdocs or scientists working in the life science industry lose a lot of time in looking for the chemicals, which can be stopped using Lanexo. BSSN is a software, is a data science software which acts as a internet of a laboratory of things. So what it do is two things. One is data harmonization and data connection. So it can take data from different instruments and try to and have it in one form, and then this data can then be used for artificial intelligence, or it can be used for further data intelligence or identifying secondary application with the data. So the Merck connected laboratory business makes sure that Merck can facilitate the fair data principles. The fair data principles involve findable, accessible, interpretable, and reusable data. Findable data is most of the time when data is collected, the metadata, that is the data that telling about the data, is not available. So this is one of the biggest bottlenecks to find secondary applications with the data. Accessible is basically all the data has to be accessible in both the machine readable and human readable form. Interpretable, it has to be semantically and syntactically available for further analysis, and all these data has to be reused. It should have the potential to be reused. The Merck connected business can reduce the time spent. Basically means that in terms of laboratory management, inventory management, as well as in terms of data cleaning and data cleansing, it can reduce time. It can reduce time by 31.52%. Second is cost of storage. Today, the data has been stored different places, having an expense due to redundancy. This can be reduced by 25.67%. Licensing costs. Today, a lot of data is not available, and the research indicates that 71.5% of data generated can be publicly available, and this and Merck connected laboratory can work in this direction. Research retraction basically means today 0.04% of total published research is being retracted. Merck's fair data policies can reduce it by 51.44%. Cross-fertilization means that when data is accessible to different groups, that will foster innovation and collaboration. And potential economic groups means startups. So a lot of startups are formed in the university. So access to data means access to new ideas and forming of new startups. Another issue with the research is double funding. The same research project is funded twice. This can be avoided using the connected health business.
Hello, I am Muhammad Gharib, and now I will talk about my lab project. As we know that cancer remains one of the major burdens worldwide, and it is the leading cause of deaths globally, accounting for an estimated of 10 million deaths, or 1 in 6 deaths in 2020. Until the late 1990s, nearly all the drugs for cancer treatment were using only chemotherapy, but now there is a new era of using more complex diseases, and here in this project we will talk about the importance of partnership between Merck, KGA, and Pfizer in developing this innovative immunotherapeutic drug for cancer, and then we will assess the impact and how it is considered as a cost-effective medication. The methodology to find a objective and to reach our objectives for this project is by contacting two medical assistants at Pfizer. Then we conducted extensive review of the literature to detect the impact of the partnership between the two giant companies, Merck, Germany, and Pfizer, on the cost effectiveness of Bavenkio from a different perspective, medication, and in terms of finance. Here we can see that the results showed that the overcost for treating patients with this type of cancer over 3 years, starting from 2019 till 2021, was calculated to be around 11 to 12 million dollar in a world without Avelumab, which is our main medicine. But based on the case analysis of 30 million member health plan, which is much greater than the total cost in a world with Avemolab, that it is $9 million. So here we can see that in the incorporation and the use of this new medicine Avelumab decreased the cost of treatment from around 12 million till 9 million, so we did like $3 million saving. So here we can see how much it's considered a very cost-effective medicine. As a conclusion, we can say that Bavenkyo represents a major shift in the treatment of patients with cancer, that it can address unmet needs. So, for example, other medicines cannot treat these type of cancers, but Avimulab made very great shift. It also reduced the massive disease burden, and also it gave a major therapeutic value beyond the quality of care. Add to that, the analysis also described the economic scenario that proved how such a treatment could be cost effective from various perspectives. So here it is just a summary about my lab project.
My project is an economic analysis of Merck's Erbitux. To start with, throughout of the past decades, the incidence of cancer has been increasing worldwide. And as cancer research is advancing, the number of drugs available for treatment is rising, and so the cost of the treatment. The alarming rise in the expense of cancer therapy is prompting healthcare systems to research these therapeutic approaches. So, my primary objective is to determine the impact of the innovative immunotherapeutics medications on the cost of a treatment. We analyze the economic value and of Merck. Erbitux is treating cancer patients. To accomplish this, we use the following methodology. The data collection was done on Merck website, PubMed, and Google Scholar. We also intensively reviewed Merck Annual Report 2020 for recent economic data about Erbitux sales. Moreover, we contact Mr. Maher Jafar, the medical science licensed at Merck Middle East, to receive the primary pharmacoeconomical data about Erbitux in the market. Now let me introduce to you the drug Erbitux. Cetuximab is a recombinant human-mouse chimeric monoclonal antibody that binds specifically to the extracellular domain of a human epidermal growth factor receptor. It is Merck's flagship oncology medication and third best-selling drug in their biopharma in terms of revenue. Since its approval, it has treated over 1 million patients. The following graph shows the success of Erbitux in the market for the past 6 years, ranging between 819 and 900 million euros. To take a peek in Erbitux sales by region, sales are highest in Europe, 47%, followed by Asia Pacific, 39%, then Latin America and Middle East and Africa. As for the patent of Erbitux, they have expired in Europe in 2014 and in the United States in 2016. Although it has treated more than 1 million patients since authorization, cetuximab is not the only one in the market. Two main competitors stand out. Bantimumab, which is manufactured by Amgen and marketing as Fictibix, it targets the EGF receptor like cetuximab, but it differs in isotype where it is fully human monoclonal antibody, and it might differ in its mechanism of action. 50 bags cost $1,428 for 100 million. However, Bevacizumab, which is sold by Genentech and sold under brand name Avastin, is a recombinant human monoclonal antibody that blocks angiotensin by inhibiting vascular endothelial growth factor A. It costs around 842 $1 for 100 milligram. These two drugs are more expensive than Erbitux, which cost only $733 for the same amount. To evaluate Erbitux, we reviewed three studies that target the cost-effectiveness of the drugs from the Chinese, Saudi Arabia, and the Netherlands perspective. This acceptability curve of the Chinese study to compare Erbitux to bifazimab, how to be relative cost-effectiveness change as the willing to pay threshold was increased numerically. When the willing to pay was $24,000 per quality gain, the likelihood of the cetuximab treatment being cost effectiveness was over 90%. When the cost-effectiveness threshold was less than 5,000, the cetuximab group probability of being cost-effectiveness less than 50%, and the Saudi Arabia study showed similar results. The acceptability curve of the Netherlands study that compared the Erbitux to best supportive care revealed that the chance of cetuximab being a cost-effectiveness approach was roughly 10% at a value of 100,000 QALY and approximately 80% at a value of 150,000 QALY. Therefore, we can reach a conclusion that Erbitux is more cost-effective than bifazimab or best supportive care, yet there is still a demand to lower the price of cetuximab to boost its cost-effectiveness and make it available of those in need.
This is Bhupesh. My research topic is evobrutinib, novel drug under investigation to cure multiple sclerosis. So the research question: almost after 3 decades of research, why pharma companies are still struggling to develop a full-fledged drug to cure multiple sclerosis? There are many factors that are restricting. First thing is types of MS, multiple sclerosis identified, and the symptoms differ from person to person. And also every year they identify some new symptoms in the patients. These are the factors that restricted to develop a full-fledged drug for multiple sclerosis. Many pharma companies are involved in development of multiple sclerosis drugs, and we can clearly see from the graphs like the exponential growth of the multiple sclerosis drug market from 2017 to 2028. And mostly these drugs are developed based upon the drug class, and here it clearly shows the immunomodulators are the one which occupy the highest range of drug class, and next is the immunosuppressants and interferons and the others. Merck previously developed two drugs for multiple sclerosis, Mavenclad and Rebif, but it took a lot of time for the FDA approval as the MS is related to neurodegenerative disorder. It wasn't that easy to get the approval. And also if you see the figures, the multiple sclerosis drug market is increasing exponentially, and by 2028 it is expected to reach $41.99 billion with a compound annual growth of 6.3%. And here it's a picture that represents the global drug market, and also the key pharma companies involved in this drug development are like Sanofi, Novartis, Roche, Pfizer, Biogen, Merck and Teva. How our products are connected? Three of our products are mostly focused on their drugs. We have shown how novel drugs, strategic partnerships and economic analysis could help pharma companies. And the connected laboratory business tool is very helpful in reducing the research time. Thank you for your attention.